Live, where news comes first. This is ABC 7 with breaking news.
We spent hours with hundreds of family members who were broken, whose lives will never be the same. They had one message for all of us: do something. Just do something.
You just saw that moments ago here on ABC 7. President Biden urging Congress to take action on gun reforms.
His live nationwide address comes one day after the latest mass shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which left 4 people dead.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for ABC 7 at 6. I'm Eric Elkin.
And I'm Stephanie Valle.
And we begin in the ABC 7 Alert Center with that breaking news. Again, just moments ago, President Biden addressing Congress and the nation, asking how much carnage Congress is willing to accept before taking action. During his speech, he gave a list of proposals he wants lawmakers to take into consideration. Biden is asking Congress to address gun violence by expanding background checks on firearm purchases, consider red flag laws, and repeal immunity from gun manufacturers. He's also asking Congress to raise the legal age to buy guns from 18 to 21 and address mental health issues that both afflict the gunmen who carry out the killing of the innocent people and that affect the victims after a traumatic event.
This isn't about taking away anyone's rights. It's about protecting children. It's about protecting families. It's about protecting whole communities. It's about protecting our freedom to go to school, to a grocery store, to a church, without being shot and killed.
President Biden said there have been at least 20 shootings since Uvalde mass shootings, and said in his speech that when high-capacity rifles were banned from 1994 to 2004, mass shootings dropped. And you just saw ABC Network programming fact-checking that in real time, Stephanie.
And Eric, meanwhile, in Congress, lawmakers say they're making progress in reaching a bipartisan agreement to address gun violence. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says that could happen as soon as next week. But in comments he made earlier today, there is no indication that Republican lawmakers would support any type of gun laws.
We're working on trying to come up with a bipartisan proposal to target the 2 obvious problems: mental illness and school safety. Hopefully, when we go back in session next week, we'll have something to present on a bipartisan basis that may actually pass the Senate.
And McConnell did not answer questions on what specific types of gun restrictions he would support.
That includes if he would consider backing an expansion in background checks or any further restrictions on assault-style weapons. Well, Tulsa police are releasing the names of the victims of Wednesday's hospital shooting. 4 people were killed: Dr. Preston Phillips, Dr. Stephanie Husen, Amanda Glenn, and William Love. You heard the president reference those 4. Tulsa police also identified the shooter as Michael Lewis. Several others were injured. They say the shooter had back surgery with Dr. Phillips last month, but was unhappy with his case. Lewis died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the scene. This Thursday, police said they were inside the building looking for the shooter within minutes of arriving on the scene.
And now we are under an ABC 7 first alert. We want to get our first forecast now from Chief Meteorologist Doppler Dave Spielman, tracking a storm moving into our area, Doppler.
Yeah, we are. And, this is the reason we issued that first alert. Yesterday morning, we're tracking a thunderstorm right here, which continues to move to the northeast at about 20 miles an hour. This is not severe. Typical thunderstorm here. We could use the rain. We don't want it to be severe and get hail. But look at the lightning strikes here. You view it a little bit closer. If we track it here, Cielo Vista Mall, about 4 minutes after the hour. El Paso Airport getting close to about 6:10. But that's the direction it is moving. We have Sean, our photog, over at the Chamazelle, and there is a storm that we are watching. The winds not doing much right now, but it continues to push to the northeast. Likely to see the winds pick up just a bit out there, but we're tracking some other storms, Lower Valley out there in Hudspeth County, also one up in the area lakes around Elephant Butte Lake. So we'll take a look at those storms and also look at our latest Future Track computer models all coming up.
All right, Doppler, let's take you out to the roads now with the Traffic Track Report. Brought to you by the TxDOT traffic camera. Still sun shining down on I-10 at Boone, but you saw in that shot just a moment ago that Sean Felice was providing us, ABC7 photographer, with those dark clouds looming in the distance. This could be a different sight in the coming minutes as Dalper continues to track. No major incidents to let you know about traffic-wise on the roads, but of course with these storms moving into the area, different areas will be starting to see some wet roadways and potential for some partially flooded to flooded areas as well. So keep that in mind if you're traveling on the roads. Things can change very quickly with the weather conditions and the weather setup we have right now. So keep that in mind if you're on the roads. But at this hour, no major incidents to let you know about. But again, those storms could be moving in pretty soon.
This morning, a semi-truck was engulfed in flames on I-10 east of El Paso. You want to see this video here, a video from one of our ABC7 viewers. Take a look. You could see as they drive through that plume of smoke. As traffic continues to drive on the left side, even some debris and flames extending onto the highway there. Another look at it, just at how close the flames are to that car, even as it moves over to the shoulder. This happened on mile marker 80 on I-10. As of this newscast, we have yet to receive word if there were any injuries due to this fire.
After the story we saw Will Heron report on from the New Mexico Mobile Newsroom yesterday, we saw just how intense the temperature from fire like that can be. I bet those drivers going by felt some of that heat as they drove by it. Well, today the borderland woke up to dreaded news at the pump as gas prices, price averages crushed records overnight, and not in a good way.
Yeah, feeling the heat for sure. El Pasoans are now paying 12 cents more for gas than they did yesterday, 36 more cents than just a week ago.
ABC7 Sarah Correa spoke to drivers about how high gas prices are affecting their spending habits now.
El Pasoans are feeling the heavy cost of gas, some of them giving up their favorites to fill the tank.
We used to go out to eat a lot and we don't go out as much anymore. Past summers, I used to take my kids to like the zoo or on vacation, and this year we have to reconsider.
Yeah, I'd love some crab legs. I can't afford it.
We don't drive. We drive as little as possible.
And we're seeking out Sam's Clubs.
Yeah, we sit in line at Sam's Club to save 20 cents a gallon.
If I have to do other errands the next day, I'm just going to do them all together in that one day so I don't go back and forth.
We drove to gas stations throughout the city and saw gas prices ranging from $4.15 a gallon to $4.59 a gallon. Many El Pasoans told us they're changing their habits to avoid the rising costs.
I've been trying to stay at home as possible. If I can walk anywhere, I'll walk.
We buy groceries, maybe we'll still go out to eat, and I'm trying to not do that as much anymore and just be like, okay, we have food at home. Let's just not, waste stuff.
AAA tells me the right intentions are important when it comes to gas consumption. They say the #1 factor in emptying your tank quicker is driving behavior. They offer these tips to help stretch your gas tank. Avoid quick acceleration and make sure you're driving the speed limit. They suggest using cruise control when it's safe to do so and making sure you have healthy tires and your car is well maintained.
And just try to be more intentional about the things that we are using so that we can make everything stretch farther.
Petroleum analysts say gas prices are in a boom and bust cycle, and because of that, we could be stuck with elevated gas prices through the rest of the year. Sarah Correa, ABC7.
Schools across the borderland are getting ready to wrap up the school year if they haven't already. It's the first year all students made a full return to the classroom since the start of the pandemic. ABC7's Rihanna Chavez shares the challenges local districts were able to overcome, the difficulties that lie ahead.
It's all smiles for students here at Scottsdale Elementary School as they get ready to wrap up the school year this week, but it wasn't always smooth sailing. I spoke to the superintendents of Isleta ISD and Tornillo ISD about some of the challenges they faced this school year.
The last 2-3 years have been remarkable from the standpoint of the American public school system.
Dr. Xavier de la Torre, superintendent of YISD, calling this first semester sobering.
Attendance was way down. By the time we assessed the data in December, we learned that we had had as many referrals in that half a year that we would normally have in an entire school year.
Smaller school districts also hit hard, including Tornillo ISD, says Superintendent Rosie Vega Barrio.
Just the fact that we didn't know how that social emotional piece was going to be crucial.
This semester,
far more consistent than the first semester.
While not perfect, academics improved and teachers working harder than ever to get their students back on track.
As far as highlighting what this year is all about, it's about student success, and it's not just academically, but just watching our kids grow socially.
As for the future,
the teachers need rest. They really do.
De La Torre says reevaluating year-round schooling is on the list.
At least in this school district, it will be 2 to 3 years. If we can do even half of what we did relative to growth this year, next year, we're right there. We're back to pre-pandemic.
But that would not have been made possible without each and every educator and family.
I'm so proud of how we started, but also how strong we are ending.
And hopefully moving forward in the years to come. Brianna Chavez, ABC 7.
Happy summer to all those kids and parents. And blood banks now expressing concern as they are seeing a decrease in blood donations in the borderland. An official with Vitalant Blood Donations says they're running low on the supply of blood. ABC 7's Brianna Pettis is live in studio with the details of why the summer may be a challenge for their supply. Brianna.
David Velo, Senior Director of Donor Recruitment, says he describes the phase that we're in right now as the calm before the storm. He says every day they need to collect at least 125 blood donations daily to meet patient needs. He says the summer months are typically very difficult on the blood supply, and we are already entering these months with a low amount. This happens because schools are out and people are on vacation, so they don't want to donate. Velo says that they typically try to have at least 3-day supply of blood per day available for local hospitals, but as of right now, they only have 2-a-day supply. He says after the tragedy that took place in Uvalde, the company was able to assist with several units of blood and says that he wants to make sure that El Paso continues to be proactive rather than reactive if we need more supply.
And so in situations like what happened in Uvalde, the blood that is really saving lives is the blood that was already on the shelf, tested and available. And so none of us plans for tragedies like that, so that's why our community has got to be proactive and assure that we do have a safe and a plentiful blood supply.
And if you would like to schedule your appointment to donate, you can just go ahead and click on www.vitalant.org.
All right, Brianna, thank you. Today, the city recognized 5 police officers for their heroic actions.
How their training and quick actions led to saving the life of a woman in April. And in storm track weather, tracking the radar. Doppler.
Oh, we're tracking some of the rain, which is good news. You know, last time we had rain out at the airport, March 21st. Look what we're tracking. We got some lightning. This is some good rains. The El Paso airport about 12 minutes after the hour. That storm is just off to the south of you guys, making its way to the northeast. There's others that are out there as well. We're tracking it. It's coming up.
This is ABC 7 at 6 as we take a look from I-10 to Boone. We just showed you this a minute ago. You can see some of those raindrops falling.
And you can also see someone getting assisted by a tow truck over there. If that's part of your commute, make sure to slow down in that area. This is ABC 7 at 6.
Where news comes first.